Hey YouTube, this is PrimetimePokemon, and in this video, I'll be reviewing and giving away a Next Destinies Pokemon theme deck. This one is called Voltage Vortex, and it is a Darkness and Electric type deck. In order to win this deck, all you have to do is favorite and like this video, and then subscribe to my channel and follow me on my blog. And once you do those things, you just have to comment in the comment section of this video with your follower name from my blog, and then something like enter me or I want to win, anything like that. And then in a few weeks from now, I will randomly choose one of the commenters to win this deck. And if you need more information on that, a better description will be in the underbar below. So, I'll start off by reading the deck description, give a little summary of the deck. It says, Voltage Vortex. Get ready to watch your opponent spin out of control. The Voltage Vortex theme deck will shock them with every attack, from Zekrom's Bolt Strike to Luxray's Flash Impact and beyond. Add the possibility of 160 damage when Raichu charges up its Slam attack, and your opponents will be waiting for the next jolt. Your exciting victory. So then the winner will get the 60 Pokemon card theme deck, the metallic coin, checklist, damage counters, deck box, and then the 2-player playmat and rule sheet, as well as the code card. So I'll just review the cards now. And the reason everything was already opened up is I sorted the cards in this deck so I'd be able to review a little quicker. So there's everything you'll be getting: the code card, playing mat, that type of thing, damage counters. You'll be also getting this deck box. Once again, this is an electric / lightning and darkness deck. We'll start off with the best card, probably in the entire deck. We have Zekrom. There's 2 Zekroms in the deck, and as you can see, it's a basic electric type Pokemon. It has 130 damage, or 130 HP, and does 2 moves. The first is called Outrage, which does 20 damage plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So eventually it actually could do 140 damage in one turn if you wait until Zekrom has 120 damage. And then Zekrom's second move is called Bolt Strike, and it does 120 damage for 3 energy cards. However, it does 40 damage to Zekrom. So you could use Bolt Strike a couple of turns, get about 80 damage on Zekrom, and then use Outrage and do 100 damage that turn. So there's 2 of those. One's the one that's on the front of the deck. Next, there's a 2-2 line of Pikachu and Raichu. Pikachu, basic Pokemon, electric type, 60 HP. 2 moves. We have Thunder Shock, which does 10 damage and paralyzes the defending Pokemon if you get heads when you flip a coin. And then Tail Whap does 20 damage for 2 colorless energy cards. I do like the artwork on this card, the city background. 2 Pikachu and 2 Raichu. On the back of the box, it did talk about Raichu's Slam attack. We'll read that. So Raichu, stage 1, 90 HP electric type. 2 moves. Thunder Shock does 20 damage. And also paralyzes defending Pokemon if you get a heads when you flip a coin. So it has the same move as Pikachu. And then Slam takes 3 energy cards and does 80 damage times the number of heads you get when you flip 2 coins. So a pretty decent chance of at least doing 80 damage every turn. If you get a little luck, it'll do 160 damage. Only wish this card was a little higher HP. You'd like to be able to use Slam more than once or twice before being knocked out. But the retreat cost is only 1 energy card, so it won't cost that much to retreat Raichu and put it back into play a little later. Next, there's actually a line of Luxio and Luxray and Shinx. So there's a 4-2-1 line of Shinx, Luxio, and Luxray. Had those out of order, but we'll go to the Shinx here first. Another electric type, 60 HP, so pretty good HP for basic type Pokemon. 2 moves on this one as well, so a lot of these Pokemon have had 2 moves on them. Jump On does 10 damage, and it does 10 more damage if you get a heads when you flip a coin. And then Static Shock does 20 damage for 2 energy cards, so not a bad starting Pokemon. Can do a fair bit of damage if you get a heads when you use Jump On. So there's 4 of those, and then there's 2 Luxio. Stage 1, only 80 HP, so a little lower. Has 2 moves as well, Quick Turn and Bite. Quick Turn does 40 damage, So flip 2 coins, the number of heads you get, you do 20 damage times the number of heads you get, and then Bite just does straight out 30 damage. And as you can see, 2 colorless energy cards, so you can use that move with any energy type. And then Luxray, stage 2, a little lower HP for a stage 2, but it's not bad, 140 HP. And it has 2 moves, Flash Impact, does 60 damage for only 1 energy card. However, it does do 20 damage to one of your own Pokemon. If you had Zekrom out there, you could actually do the damage to Zekrom, and then Zekrom's move would actually be able to do more damage. Outrage would be able to do more damage when Zekrom has more damage on it. And then Crunch does 80 damage for 3 energy cards, and then you have to flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy attached to the defending Pokemon. So that could be very important. A lot of times you might spend a long time putting 2 or 3 or 4 energy cards on one Pokemon and then want to attack, and then you take 1 energy card off that Pokemon and you don't have any energy cards in your hand or anything. You won't be able to attack for a few turns. That could really frustrate your opponent. So there's that line, and then we have just 2 Emolga. Basic, HP of 70, electric type again, so a little higher HP. Only 1 move that takes 2 energy cards, does 30 damage. And you have to switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon when you use this move. So if you don't have Pokemon you really want out there for some reason, or you want to set up a Pokemon on your bench for 1 more turn, you could put Emolga out there, use Bounce 1 turn, attack, and then switch Emolga with your bench Pokemon. So 2 Emolga in the deck. And then there's 2 Blitzel in the deck. This is the last electric type Pokemon. 60 HP again, so a little lower. And actually, it's pretty good, pretty average. Lower than Emolga, but still average. And then Thunder Jolt is its only move. 2 energy cards and does 30 damage. However, it does do damage to itself if you get a Tails when you flip a coin. Now on to the Darkness type Pokemon cards. Start off with a 2-1 line of Sneasel and Weavile. Sneasel's a Darkness type. 60 HP, which is average, and then 2 moves. So a lot of these Pokemon have 2 moves. It gives you a lot of variety to attack with. First move is Corner, and it does 10 damage for a Darkness energy card, and the defending Pokemon can't retreat during the next turn. And then Scratch does 20 damage for 2 colorless energy cards, so then you can use some electric type Pokemon, or electric type energy cards when you're using Scratch. 2 of those, and then 1 Weavile. 90 HP for stage 1, which is average. And then has 2 moves. Dark Penalty does 90 damage if the defending Pokemon has no Pokemon tool attached to it. Oh, if the defending Pokemon has no Pokemon tool card attached to it, this attack does nothing. So basically, if the defending Pokemon has a tool attached to it, then it does 90 damage. So Dark Penalty really doesn't do too much. And then the second move is Fury Swipes, and that just does 30 damage times the number of heads you get when you flip 3 coins. So even though Weavile is a rare card, it's not exactly the best card you'd want to use, especially if your opponent isn't using Pokemon tool cards. Then the only move you really can use is Fury Swipes. Next Pokemon in the deck is Scraggy. There's a 2-1 line of Scraggy and Scrafty. Scraggy, basic, 70 HP. I like the artwork on this card, nice full moon behind it. 2 moves. We have Shed Skin, which heals 40 damage from this Pokemon, and then Lunge, which does 40 damage for 2 Darkness energy cards, but if you get a Tails when you flip a coin, this attack does nothing, unfortunately. So 2 of those, and then 1 Scrafty, which has 90 HP, and then 2 moves. Rockhead is the first move, which does 20 damage, and then any attacks done to Scrafty during your opponent's next turn is reduced by 20. And then Hammer Kick takes 3 energy cards, 2 colorless and 1 darkness, and does 50 damage plus 30 more damage if Scrafty has less HP on it than the defending Pokemon. So if Scrafty's about to get knocked out, Hammer Kick will actually do 80 damage instead of 50 damage. Now you might be wondering why this Grass-type Pokemon is here. Well, if you notice, it is a Grass-type Pokemon, but it only takes a colorless energy card. So next we have a 4-2 line of 4 Seedot and 2 Nuzleaf, and Nuzleaf is a darkness type Pokemon. So Seedot, extremely low HP with only 40, but it does do 10 damage, plus 10 more damage if you get a heads when you flip a coin. So actually it's a fairly good move, just real low HP, so you might want to get this card out as soon as possible in the game, but probably not play it later on. I'd probably wait and evolve it into Nuzleaf before I put it out there in the active Pokemon spot. So Nuzleaf, there are 2 Nuzleaf in this deck. 80 HP, darkness type Pokemon, so lower HP again, but not as low as 40 for basic. Nuzleaf only has a 1 move called Surprise Punch, which takes 1 colorless and 1 darkness energy card. Does 20 damage, and it says to move an energy card attached to the defending Pokemon to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So that could be helpful in preventing your opponent's active Pokemon to attack that next turn. So that ends all of the Pokemon in the deck, and now we'll take a look at some of the trainers and supporter cards. Started off with 2 Energy Search. Basically it just says to search your deck for a basic energy card and reveal it and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So it's a way to quick get an energy card into your hand. Potion heals 30 damage from one of your Pokemon or removes 3 damage counters. There are 2 potions in this deck. Pokemon Center, there's only 1, and it says once during each player's turn, that player may heal 20 damage from one of his or her Pokemon. So this probably isn't the best stadium card to use just because it heals both you and your opponent's Pokemon. Pokemon Communications, an item. And there are 2 Pokemon Communication trainers in this deck. It says to reveal a Pokemon in your hand and put it on top of your deck. If you do, search your deck for a Pokemon. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterward. So it's basically a Pokemon exchanger. Just like in the video games, you just go to your box, deposit a Pokemon, and withdraw a Pokemon. Next, we have Professor Juniper. There's 2 of these. It just says to discard your hand and draw 7 cards. These could be especially useful when you only have 2 or 3 cards in your hand. You can just discard those 2 cards and then draw 7 new cards. And then we have 2 Silent. And it says to search your deck for 3 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So this is a much better card than Energy Search just because it gets 3 basic energy cards from your deck into your hand, where Energy Search only does 1. But you only can play 1 supporter card every turn. And then the last trainer in the deck is Level Ball. There's 2 of these, and it says to search your deck for a Pokemon with 90 HP or less, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So this is probably a good trainer to get basic Pokemon out into play or into your hand. And then this deck has 12 lightning or electric type energy cards and then 6 darkness energy. Because if you notice, a lot of the darkness type Pokemon had colorless type moves. So here's all the energy. So overall, this isn't a bad deck. There are a couple Pokemon that do have extremely high attacks, especially Raichu and Zekrom if you use Outrage. So I'd actually recommend this deck. Like I said, if you're looking to battle, what I would suggest is just buy a theme deck that you really like the types of, and then play with that deck for a while, and then buy some packs here and there, and then one by one switch some of the Pokemon out and make improvements to your deck that way. So once again, I am giving away this deck. Basically all you need to do is like, favorite, and subscribe to my channel, and then follow me on my blog. And once you do those things, comment on this video with your blog follower name, and then you're entered to win. So good luck to everyone. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.